Hi everyone, so today I would like to teach you about one topic which is about movement of substances across the plasma membrane. So we go specifying into a simple topic which is about a concept of movement of substances across the plasma membrane. So let's check it out and we learn together. So what you can see is this is about movement of substances across the plasma membrane. So there are about two types of movement of substances across the plasma membrane, which are passive transport and also active transport. Passive transport is divided into three, which are simple diffusion, osmosis, and also facilitated diffusion. So right now, we're looking on the passive transport, which is about the simple diffusion. So how simple diffusion can be happen? Simple diffusion can be happen through a movement of molecules or ions from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration. So it follows the concentration gradient. So it moves from the high concentration to low concentration. So there are some types only of substances that can be across the plasma membrane by simple diffusion, such as smaller molecules that can be dissolved in water, such as oxygen and also carbon dioxide. And then molecules that can be dissolved in lipid, such as fatty acids, glycerol, and also vitamin A, D, E, K, or vitamin A. So remember that. So now we look at on the figure below. Figure below show you about the respiration process that happen in our body, which is it located in our lung, which is it show you the alveolus and also blood vessel. So how this simple diffusion can be happen? It can be happen when we are breathing the air containing a lot of oxygen and less of carbon dioxide. So that our blood vessel at the lung is containing less of oxygen and then have the high concentration of the carbon dioxide. So when the air move in our trachea and move into our lung and then go to our alveolus, so that the oxygen will diffuse into the blood vessel. This is because it used the simple diffusion, which is from the high concentration of oxygen, it moved to the low concentration of oxygen. And then the carbon dioxide also same. Carbon dioxide in the blood vessel will move out and move into the alveolus, which is the carbon dioxide have the high concentration of carbon dioxide in the blood vessel and move into the alveolus that have less of the carbon dioxide. So that's about simple diffusion in our respiration process. Okay, so right now we look at two other passive transport, which is about osmosis. So what osmosis can be do? So osmosis can be happen through a movement of water molecules from a region of their high concentration to a region of their low concentration through a partially permeable membrane. So it moves from the high concentration of water to low concentration of water. So this osmosis is actually only engaging of the water molecules. Remember it. And it engaging with the partially permeable membrane. If not have partially permeable membrane, it is actually not the osmosis process, but it's actually the simple diffusion. So this is the difference between simple diffusion and also osmosis process. So if a solution contains a lot of water molecules, it can be called as that water have the high water potential. But if a solution contains less of water molecules, it can be called as the water have the low water potential. So remember it. Okay, so right now we look at the figure below. So figure below show you about the beaker that have contained distilled water and also concentrated sugar solution. So we look at on the beaker at the right side of me, which is it show you the beaker have the two sides, which is it separate with the partially permeable membrane. Remember it. And then the first side, which is at the right side of the right beaker, it actually contains distilled water, and the left side of the right beaker is actually contain concentrated sugar solution. So in distilled water, it contain high water potential, which is have a lot of concentration of water, but the concentrated sugar solution have low water potential, which is have the low concentration of water. So how this osmosis can be happen? Osmosis can be happen from the high concentration of water from distilled water. We move and diffuse into the right side of the left side of the right beaker, which is it will diffuse into the concentrated sugar solution. This is because the concentrated sugar solution have low concentration, so it will move according the gradient of the concentration of water. So now we look at on the left side of the beaker of me, which is it show you the water or the concentration of water at both sides is actually equally same. So this is because of the osmosis process. So it show you the equilibrium of the water is actually reached because the both side is same. So it's the concentration of the both side of water solution is same because of the osmosis process. Now you get it what I'm trying to teach you. Okay, so right now we look at for the other of the passive transport, which is the last of the passive transport that we need to learn, which is about the facilitated diffusion. So how it can be happen. So this facilitated diffusion, it happen. This is because some of the molecules, for the larger molecules, cannot be across by the plasma membrane of the phospholipid bilayer. This is because some of the larger molecules is actually cannot be dissolved in the lipid, so it cannot be across by this phospholipid bilayer. So how these molecules can be across and move into the cell? It happen through facilitated diffusion. So it happen when a movement of the hydrophilic molecules, which is the molecules that cannot be dissolved in lipid or ions, across the plasma membrane with the help of the transport proteins. These transport proteins will help these molecules to cross the plasma membrane. So this passive transport or facilitated diffusion, it does not require any energy to to pass through the molecules from outside into the cell. So it just happen through the transport proteins only. Transport proteins will pass through all of these molecules and move into the cell. So these transport proteins, it contains about two types of transport proteins, which is we look at, and the first type is transport proteins is channel protein. So what channel protein gonna do? Channel protein is actually acts as a gate which can open and also close. So it will open up the spores or the pores that can be allowed the specific ions to across the membrane plasma, so that it can it allows the specific ions like sodium and also chlorine ions that can be across the plasma membrane. So now we look at on the other transport protein, which is the carrier protein. This carrier protein is actually help a molecule to attach to the carrier protein and to attach at its binding site, and then it will change the shape of the carrier protein to allow these molecules can be carrier and move into the cell. which is it will deliver the molecules or ions to across through the cell by carry this molecule from outside into in the side of the cell, which is it allow the larger molecules such as glucose, amino acid, and also other smaller protein can be across this membrane. It's not crossing the ions, it just crossing the protein, glucose, and also amino acid. For the ions, is only passed through channel protein. Remember it. So right now, we look at for the other transportation of the movement of the substances across the plasma membrane. Just now we look at on the passive transport. So I hope you guys understand about the passive transport. Now we'll focus on the active transport. So how active transport can be happen? So it happen when the movement of molecules or ions from a region of lower concentration to a region of higher concentration across the plasma membrane. So it's actually different with the passive transport. For the passive transport, it just only happen from the movement of the substances across the plasma membrane from the high concentration to low concentration. But this active transport is against, which is it from the low concentration to high concentration. So this active transport is actually require carrier proteins and also cellular energy. Cellular energy, it can be get from the ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate. This adenosine triphosphate will be produced and it will help to give the energy for for diffusing the molecules or ions from the lower of the concentration to the high concentration of the region. So it really important. So remember, it really engaging with the carrier proteins only and not channel proteins. So the example of the ions that can be delivered, that can be diffused through this active transport is sodium and also calcium ion. So based on the figure below, so we look at on the figure below, it show you about the root hair cell. This root hair cell is actually have at the root of the plants, which is the plants that have been planting in the soil. So in the soil, if we water the soil, so that the soil will contain a lot of water. So it containing a lot of water, so that this soil containing have the high concentration of water, while it have the lower concentration of mineral ion. So in the subcell of the root hair cell, it contains a high concentration of the mineral ion, while it contains less concentration of water because it really requires the water. That's why we water the soil and then this plant get the water. So how this active transport can be happen? This active transport can be happen when the mineral ion, concentration mineral ion in the soil less, so it will carry into the root hair cell by active transport. So the cell of the plant will make the adenosine triphosphate will produce this ATP, and then it will give the energy for the mineral ion to be diffused into the cell from the lower region of concentration to the higher region of concentration. So that's why it can be happen through this active transport. So this mineral ion will pass through and diffusing by the carrier protein. Remember it. So how about the water? The water is actually will following the gradient, which is it will move into the root hair cell by osmosis process. So in this situation, it happened the active transport and also osmosis process. It happened both of these transport, passive and also active transport. So I hope you guys understand about this active transport. Okay, so that's all about the passive transport and also active transport that you guys should know, which is that contained in the concept of the membrane of the movement of the substances across the membrane plasma of the plasma membrane. So now we look at the activity. So I want you guys to entertain with this activity. So I want to hype this class and make this class more actively engaging by yourself, students. So now the activity is actually divided into two types, which is individual and also group work. For the individual, what I want you guys to do is, you guys are in the lab, right? In the computer lab, right? So what I want you guys is, I want you guys to answer the quizzes through the Kahoot website. So go into the Google and write the Kahoot website and enter the Kahoot website, and then enter the pin that will be given by the teacher, which is I will give you the pin number of this Kahoot website. So you just go to the Kahoot website and enter the pin that will be given to you. So who get the first place, second place and third place, I will give you the special reward. Okay, remember that. So now we look at on the group work. So for the group work, what I want you to do is actually, I want to divide you guys into several groups, which is one group contain about 4 people, which is I want you guys to access Google Classroom website by entering this class code. So I give this class code, so just enter this class code and then click the YouTube link given and watch the video, which is the YouTube link I already provided in the classroom website, so that you just click and watch the video. Focus on the video. This is because you need to understand what the video is deliver information and knowledge. This is because I want to make sure you to understand well. So what you guys need to do next is actually you guys need to make a concept map of comparison between active transport and passive transport through Microsoft PowerPoint, so that you guys need to do this concept map based on the video that have been watched, like that. So that after you guys already do this concept map, what you guys need to do, you guys need to submit to me. Of course, I want to see how your presentation of your concept map in the Microsoft PowerPoint. So you need to submit the file of concept map in the Google Classroom website through under the classwork, which is of the concept map topic 3. If you look at in the classwork, you will find out the file that name of the concept map topic 3, so submit there. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoy do this activity, and I want you guys to understand more about this movement of substances across the plasma membrane. So let's begin our activity. So that's all about my micro teaching. So I hope this can be developed, this can be used by other teachers, which is really engaging with the technology, is really helpful for the student in understand well and know well and can really understand about the concept of the abstractness of the topic. So that's all from me. Thank you.